Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Remastered. This is going to be a game between Force and Shuttle here on Fighting Spirit. And this is a patron bonus cast for those of you who subscribe to me on patreon.com/FalconPaladin for at least $1 a month, which gives you 4 bonus Brood War casts every single month. Top left-hand corner is the Red Protoss player. It is Shuttle, playing under his Smurf name Lexus. And in the bottom left-hand corner is the Teal Zerg player. It is Force, playing under Ran 2. I know, everybody plays under Smurfs. It's confusing, but the people who put together this replay pack for Team Liquid did a good job of figuring out who is who here, and I really appreciate it, whoever the heck it happened to be here. Don't know them personally, but they threw it up for public consumption, and as such, I will cast it for public consumption. Yeah, so this is going to go up on my channel about a month after it posts on Patreon. So those of you who are seeing this are going to see it again here on the channel in about 4 weeks. But, I mean, the ones on Patreon get like, I don't know, 4 views, 6 views. Hopefully we get more with this new program of additional Brood War content and additional people hitting me up on Patreon. But I don't know, these need wider consumption than just that. So that's why it's going to show up on the YouTube channel as well. And here comes the probe. Probe comes in, sees a pool first play here. That looks like about a 10 pool from our Zerg player based on the drone count here right now. And yeah, the probe's in here. We're going to see what it can do for harassment. Nice control here by Force. Just getting shots off, keeping the probe away, making sure no drones go down, making sure no drones take too many hits. I'm just trying to make sure that the probe doesn't get anything done really on that stage. So, great scout. It basically means you don't want to go Nexus first here. You probably just want to go into a... would you gateway here? Is that a forge? That's definitely a forge. So as long as your forge first play, your building placement is good, you're going to be just fine here if you're Shuttle. So going for the forge first, going to throw up a cannon and maybe a gateway here as well, and then try to block the rest of it with probes if necessary, depending on how aggressive this is going to be out of Force. Ooh, and then he does block the expansion a little bit here. Obviously, the pool is done, and now there are lings in production, but 2 drones, so it looks very much like it's not going to be an aggressive Zerg play at all. He got scouted. Immediate quick scout there out of Shuttle, seeing exactly what's going on, and as a result 6 lings are not going to be worth it, so he makes 2 drones and a pair of lings, calls it good. Nicely done. He saw the drones come out, he saw 1 pair of lings come out, and he canceled that cannon. That's fantastic. He just needs the 1. So all he needs right now is the 1 cannon kind of centrally placed. 2 lings can't get through that, and that is just beautiful reaction time. Canceled the pylon here too, recognizing that's not going to happen. Pylon's not going to actually block anything with 2 lings out. Yeah, so I think both players are reacting to each other pretty darn well here. Expanding to the center section bottom. Interesting. So Force is taking this base instead. Usually what we'll see for a 3rd base is down here or up in the top right. He'll take a main for his 3rd, but it's pretty early, so I'm wondering if maybe he's worried about it getting sniped here. He doesn't... I mean, he has pretty good vision, actually, the Overlord. This Overlord is scouting pretty much all that the Protoss player is doing. Obviously, he knows there's gas up there, though he can't see it. And he can see the expansion coming up, the gateway just now warping in. So there's really not much that can stop this hatchery from finishing or bother it when it actually does finish. Hydralisk Den, that is a pretty darn quick Hydra Den here from Force. Liking that. He's got a pressure. We're going to see some pressure, some Hydra pressure up at the front. And really, all that's going to be able to be made here for a little bit of time anyway are Zealots. That Cybercore is on the way. But if they're already Hydras on the way, and there are not, there's just Hydra speed. So maybe this is just Force being a little bit cautious at this stage of the game. He just wants to say, let's just make sure we have Hydras with speed available if an attack comes out at us. I really don't see this turning into an aggressive play. It would be range if it was an aggressive play. If he wanted to set up here with Hydras and pick these buildings off, he would be going for the range upgrade first. And he's not. So he's just saturating his 3rd base. I mean, there's a Stargate now, but there can't be Corsairs for any amount of time. I mean, for quite some time here. Not any amount of time. Anyway, wow, I spent the last few days on vacation, which you probably didn't notice because the buffer was up. Did not miss a day of the schedule during casting. And that's just because if I go on vacation, I make sure I have enough casts scheduled on YouTube to make sure that you guys don't even notice. So it was nice. Just went to a town nearby with all of my brothers and sisters and their family. And I am the oldest of 9 children, so there are quite a few brothers and sisters, and they're starting to have kids now. And it's a lot. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of fun. I am a bit of an introvert as this pylon does go down, but family's always a good time regardless there. So there are some hydras in production, and that is the range upgrade. So we might see some of that aggression here. Do we have any dragoons on the way? Those additional cannons. He recognizes the probe did a fantastic job scouting this, by the way. He knows what's here. The problem is, zealots aren't really going to cut it, and they are pulling back to the safety of that cannon. They're trying to focus down this one cannon, but nice control on those zealots, making sure nobody gets through that. And Shuttle doing a great job here, waiting for that range upgrade to finish, and they'll start picking away at the gateway. In the meantime, we got additional hydras in production, additional hydras running up here. They got the speed, so the reinforcing time is very fast. Templar Archives on the way, but not in time to help Shuttle all that much, I don't think. This is exactly what I was worried about for Shuttle. That gateway is gonna die. He's sacking it. He can't save it at all. Bam, done. This this pylon's gonna die. If these hydras run in and they're able to snipe down this pylon, I think Shuttle is in a world of hurt. He's not making additional pylons here either. All these things would be depowered, and I think that would be it. Forge down upgrades are going to be denied for quite some time. Seriously, guys, I think you have enough to get in here and snipe this thing. I don't know that he knows that, though. Let's look at his vision. Does he know what that is? I think he sees it now. Oh, that's another pylon coming up behind there, though, so never mind. Not going to happen. He would have had to throw away a bunch of hydras, and especially with that new pylon coming in. There was a small window there where I think he could have taken this down, depowered all of these cannons, and then maybe made it happen, but he's been droning a whole bunch here, too. He thinks the damage he's done has been enough so far, but Storm is on the way. A robotics facility is on the way over here, too, for our Protoss player Shuttle. And he is making a Corsair, because what else are you going to make, honestly, at this stage? Scouts are just too slow and too expensive and too much supply, and they build more slowly than Corsairs do. So that's why we're seeing Corsairs instead of Scouts here. That's just, people ask, why don't see Scouts? And that's why. Just Corsairs are better in almost every metric in general. So the Corsair comes out, starts chasing away this Overlord that's been scouting for quite some time. Sees exactly what's coming up here. So Force is doing a great job getting that scouting information off. Is it going to be enough for him to win the game? Don't know. We kind of need to keep the scouting happening here for quite some time. But in the meantime, there's a Spire on the way. Where the heck is he building his Spire? At the third base. Yeah, there it is. There's your Spire. Dark Templar coming in here too. Is this actually going to be a DT? A DT Corsair play. Very well could be. So no Spore colonies here at all. Oh, there's a Hydra here though. And then a couple Hydras here at the natural base too. So for one Corsair, this is going to be enough. It's enough to protect the Overlord, no problem. Third base has a couple Hydras here as well, and then it's containing out front. The problem is that Storm is done, and these guys have enough energy for Storm. And as a result, the Hydras need to get out of here. If they're just stationary, they're going to catch a Storm to the face, no question about it. Corsair scouts and says, alright, so the Spire is just now finished. Mutalisk actually coming in right now. Oh, free Corsair if you want it, Force, but no, just bailing. Just heading back home as there's a Shuttle sneaking on down here into his main base. He's got a single Hydralisk to try to pick this thing off, but that's not going to be enough here. High Templar going for... Oh, Dark Templar, actually. Was there a High Templar in there, too? There was. There was one in there. Now, there's definitely detection. I don't know what this DT hopes to do. I mean, I guess a couple drone kills. 3 drone kills is... 4 drone kills. It's not bad. But it's not like game-changing levels of damage there. The DT does go down. It doesn't get out. So that's a lot of gas sacrificed for essentially 4 drones. So decent harassment. Would have been better if the DT could have gotten out of there. But this is not StarCraft 2 where the shuttles can pick stuff up from a good range. Mutalisk's flying on in. And actually, oh, storming probes a little bit there. Shuttle, be careful. Be careful with storming your own probes. I like that Force got right over those probes. So any storms that came their way, you would have to take out the probes as well. I'm pretty sure this guy took out at least a couple of his own dudes. Apparently, friendly fire deaths do not count. Don't show up there on that kill count for each unit. So I'm liking this, honestly, from Force. He's got 3 bases. He's happily flying around. He's got a couple Scourge in case some Corsairs fly in. And there's one now. But focusing it down, and the mutants do not get a lot done. They're already pretty injured from taking some of that storm. And some shots from the cannons too there, so it was alright. I mean, I don't think that was fantastic harassment either. Warp. I did that. I made reference to a StarCraft 2 unit, and my brain is like, that's what that is. No, it's a shuttle. But Lurker aspect is done. Lurker's already out. Obviously, we can see that there. Queen's Nest coming in for that lair. And Force is doing a good job getting up to tier 3. Whatever he wants to do with that. I mean, it looks like it's probably going to be Defilers. I really don't see an Ultralisk play here at all out of Force, but another drop on in. Nice Storm drop, catching 3 drones. 6 kills on that overall. Another one goes down and then just gets out. So decent Storm drop. The Hydras come back to deal with that, but way, way, way too late, despite the fact that they have speed. I don't see Shuttle speed on the way, and it's not. But definitely Zealot legs in production, additional Lurkers here too. I kind of like what we're seeing here out of Force. I think I cast a game of his a while ago and wasn't too impressed with his play, but this game he seems to be playing a little bit better, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit better on the defense. That Storm drop did kill a few of his drones, but overall didn't exactly wipe out the drone line because his reaction time on the drones was good in pulling them out of there. Observatory on the way from Shuttle, so he wants to make those observers part of his army composition because there are Lurkers in play. Looks like he's trying to set up for a 3rd base, but he doesn't have the money for it quite yet. He does now, but he's also attacking on down into a bunch of Lurkers with Zealots. It was not something you generally want to do here. Dragoon count, quite nice. Got the High Templar in the mix as well. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, does he actually? He does catch that Lurker. I thought that was outside of the range of the Storm, but no, definitely not. Definitely not at all. Tacking on down. Shuttle wants to break this. I'm just not sure that he can right now. That 3rd base is coming up for Shuttle. He didn't forget about it. Ling's trying to wrap around for a counterattack. At least make Shuttle think that's what's going on here. But yeah, I mean, Dragoons and Storm in general are good against this Lurker composition. Going for Adrenal Glands and additional missile attack upgrades. Hydra is just melting to that Storm along the right side. There's an Archon in the mix there too, and Shuttle's being extremely patient. Just picking at the edges of this defense here, doing a nice job with it. Link's trying to run in, but a Cannon Zealot defense is enough to shut that down, especially if they have the +1 attack. Ling's trying to jump on top of this Archon, which seems weird. Storming his own High Templar there a little bit in a defensive position. Not as good. Coming around different angles, trying not to clump up his units so the Storm isn't everywhere, but so many Storms coming on in. The Zealots are taking hits, but it doesn't really matter. The Zealots are throwawayable at this stage of the game. Corsair versus Mutalisk. A 1v1 battle along the left side. No kills on that Corsair. Otherwise, I kind of like the amounts of green that are on the map right now. Trying to get on top of these Dragoons. Nicely done. Nice flank attack from the top side. Great positioning from Force. And I don't know if these guys are getting home, at least not without taking some more damage. That Lurker needs to burrow now. What's he doing? Can he make it in? He does make it into the ground there with 7 HP. Gets some nice spines off on some of those Zealots, but reinforcing units coming in the red is pushing away the green for now, though. But the further away you get from the Zerg base, the better Force is going to be here. He really needs a 4th base is what he needs. He's got a hive. He's doing great that way. He's making additional Zerglings. He seems pretty happy with his drone count, but honestly, a 4th base would be huge, and there it is. All right, so just tossing it down on the right side. Again, I love the amount of green, the amount of coverage he has. He knows anytime Force, or anytime rather Shuttle, is going to come down to the southern section of the map here. He's going to be ready for it here, too. Dragoons dancing about. And Ling's trying to jump on top of those High Templar. They do snipe one of them off. Another guy's still alive, doing a bit of a turn there. He has enough for a couple Storms for sure, according to the math. So yeah, going to be a Ling Hydra Lurker style thing here. Defiler Mound just now popping additional Lurker eggs, morphing on the left side here too. And it is going to be a Dragoon Archon High Templar Zealot style strategy here out of Shuttle. Ling's trying to jump on top of this. Nah, it's not a good place to be, man. That Archon has been chomping at you for days. 10 kills on that Archon. Lurker Egg almost done, but forced into a cancel there. Or, you know, just getting killed. That's fine, too. I guess that Lurker does manage to make it out with all of 9 HP. Trying to flank on the right side with the Lings, jumping on top of those High Templars, storming themselves a little bit there. No, he dodges his own storm, or that of his friends a little bit. Nicely done so far out of Shuttle. He is engaging perfectly here. The flanks And the different positioning from Force was beautiful, but it was not enough. As subtly, it's a 136 to 87 supply setup here. And Shuttle is pushing on in, reinforcing Lings and Lurkers, trying to get on top of this. Lurkers are stabbing away. That Archon did go down eventually there with several kills to his name. Lings trying to jump on top of this too, but the Archon, chewing them up quite nicely. Adrenal Glands is done on these cracklings, so they are good, but they are not this good. As the Archon ends up with 12 kills there, basically protecting all of the Dragoons from these Lings. Oh, hang on, can they finish him off? They're trying, and they do. They do snipe the Archon. Nicely done, Lings. A lot of your buddies got thrown in there to make that happen, but Shuttle not really able to push the issue too much. I am shocked Overlord speed is not done. But yeah, without that Archon in there, the Lings are jumping on top of the Dragoons and doing a nice job of it. Nice snipe on that High Templar. Beautiful stuff. Lurker's getting picked out of the ground on the right side here. This is some pretty good action here at the 15-minute mark of this match. Observer gets picked out of the sky. That's a huge deal for Force, making the Lurkers that much better, but getting stormed anyway as Shuttle knows where it is. He knows where that Lurker is, absolutely, making additional Zerglings, working on additional missile attacks. Is that +2 that's completed now? Well, I guess we'd have to find a Hydralisk first, wouldn't we? Maybe a Lurker that's done. Hey, Lurkers, guys? No, huh? Alright, so the Zerglings are at 2-2, which is beautiful, actually. These are 2-2 with the Lings and 2-2 with the Lurkers? And Hydras? That's pretty fantastic stuff. They're not going to burrow in for a minute here anyway. Zerglings, again, just being active on the map, trying to find a High Templar to snipe off here and there. Try not to run into big Zealot balls. Zealot's running on into the 4th base, though. Oh, boy. This is a problem for the Zerg player. Force Lurker's going to burrow on in and try to save it. Zealot's hacking at him before they can get in and burrow. Trying to burrow on the ramp. It's a good place to be. Does burrow in, and the +2 is done. So, wow, 2-2 Lurkers and 2-2 Zerglings. At the same time, Ling's just getting massacred as they try to engage this army in the middle of the map. The 4th base survives. There's literally no mining going on in here at all. Storm drop in the main base. 2 kills on that High Templar. 2 kills on that High Templar. So not doing incredible amounts of work, but forcing the drones off the line anyway. And then Zealots actually finishing up the weakened drones just with their regular style attacks. As you try to sneak on in. Oh, the Scourge are going to find this. Look how slow this Shuttle is. That's the sound they make when they die. Lurker's getting picked out of the ground there. So 3 base to 4 base is a pretty good place to be for Force. He's down about 40 supply, though, and at this stage of the game, that is not what you want to be. Honestly, I mean, his positioning and his sniping has been pretty good. That Lurker count is insanely high. The Zealots want nothing to do with this. The Dragoons definitely do. The Archon gets picked out there. Scourger trying to find the Observer, and it's pulling out. The Observer's pulling out, which means the Lurkers are doing better now. Flank attack from the other side. Hydras do pick up some High Templar, getting murdered in the process there. Storming his own Zealots a little bit. Shuttle has been doing that from time to time here. High Templar, 3 kills. High Templar, 8 kills. This has been a really, really good match. Lurkers burrowing in on top of this army. They're going to wipe it out. Unless you run out of here, there's not enough there. You can't run. The Lings are there. High Templar getting picked out of the army composition, and everybody else running for their lives. So Force, again, holding on to the 4th base, which would mean more if he was actually mining from it, I feel like. But yeah, he's going Ling Hydra here. The Defilers have not really come into play. Haven't seen any Plagues or any Dark Swarm whatsoever, which I think he really needs if he's going to win this game. Some Plagues on these Zealots would be absolutely game-changing, but he doesn't seem to have any Defilers on the field. He has a Defiler mound. Did it get sniped? Possibly. No, man, it's right here. It's fine. It's at 100% health, actually. Oh, he is researching Plague. So he didn't have Plague research. Fine. But he's still... There we go. Making some Defilers. Didn't have any Defilers on the mound for quite some time, but he was worried about the attacks from Shuttle. So I can understand his reluctance there. Reaver. Reaver attack on the way now from Shuttle. He's making 1. Making additional Dragoons. The upgrades. Our +3 attack is done for the Protoss player. And 2-2 is done overall right now for the Zerg, which, I don't know, a little bit more tanky. But against +3 attacks from things like Zealots and Archons, I'm not sure how much it matters that you have +2 armor on your Zerglings. Storm in his own. Again, Zealots keep wandering into storms here today, which is not good for their long-term health. A double Dark Templar, High Templar drop at the 4th base. Oh, it's a good storm. Ready? Good storm. Oh! High Templar, ooh, gets picked off, but kills every single drone present. Every single one dies. 5th Hatchery trying to come in. Dark Templar are going to try to stop that on his lonesome, doing 40 plus 9 damage per swipe with that Dark Templar blade here. Enough to, well, never mind. I was going to say, oh, you know what? That Storm Drop could have worked. I'm not sure what Shuttle stopped doing that for. He does actually force a cancel on the 5th with that Dark Templar. I cannot believe that happened. Attacking into the Meat Grinder. Force. No. Don't. The Lurkers are trying to do stuff, but there's detection. There are Archons. Hey, a Dark Swarm finally comes up. I don't know how much it actually matters. Are there any more Lurkers on the ground here? I don't think there are. But the Ling's actually forcing these Archons back. The 4th Nexus is in a ton of trouble. Oh, they need to take down that High Templar. He gets picked up and saved by the Shuttle, though. Nice job. Did that Dark Templar get out? That Dark Templar who forced a cancel on the 5th gets out of the 5th base location and walks past the 4th. And that Nexus is done. There's no saving it. There's Cracklings and Hydras on that. And that was a cancel, I'm pretty sure. This DT earning his keep for sure, man. Take a shot to the face as there are a couple Lings and Hydras and detection present. Meeting in the middle. I don't know who wanted to meet here, but this is where we are. I am again. Finally, faster Overlord movement is on the way. +3 missile attack. Finishing up here, too. Nice Plague. Catching a bunch of these Dragoons. They don't catch the High Templar, which is a bit of an issue, but catching anything, a huge group of Dragoons, is not too shabby here at all. That Lurker has 2 kills. The Defiler's going to get picked off and killed, as he's not very fast. Casters in this game just aren't zippy, which makes sense. It balances it out. They're really powerful. They shouldn't also be able to run away really fast after casting their powerful spells. Replacement 5th base coming up for Force and still be on 3 base. Here is Shuttle. He's mined out of his main. His natural is mined out except for 1 mineral patch of all of 172 minerals on that. That's not going to last him very long at all. This game is turning into a pretty good nail biter. Sure, the Zerg player's down about 20 supply, but he seems to be hanging on just fine anyway. Lings on top of these Zealots, just outnumbering them about 6 to 1. 3-3. Fully upgraded Cracklings, by the way. Fully upgraded. Woohoo! The Storm is good. The High Templar getting picked off, though. Lings will trade their lives for High Templar every single day of the week, and they're doing it. As you can see, the Zerg blood down there. Lings checking to see, is there a replacement 4th Nexus? No, there's definitely not. And Shuttle is getting pushed into a corner here. Nobody puts Shuttle in a corner except for Force. 5th Hatchery going to pop up here eventually. It's very slow going, relatively speaking, for Force, but he's going to be okay with it, I think. A couple of mutas running around. These guys have been here for quite some time and not really done much by way of attacking, but they've been scouting for a little bit here anyway. 6 Defilers in production at once. Additional Lurkers here. Still sitting on 3 attack and nothing else. Scourge are trying to find those Shuttles. Can't do it. Not able to do it there. Overlords coming in to mess with, yes, just mess with the targeting AI from Shuttle. Shuttle's on the warpath, and I am not sure there's enough stuff here from Force to stop it. Nice Plague, catching both of the Reavers. But there are only Zerglings here. The Reaver shots. The Reaver shots are key right now. Ling's trying to attack on in. Coming from all different sides right now is the Zerg player trying to burrow Lurkers on top of this army, but he wasn't able to snipe off the Observers. Another Plague comes down, forming his own Zealots who are already plagued, wiping them out just a little bit here. There are reinforcing units coming in right now from the Zerg from the left side. Does he desperately just have enough to take down this army? I don't know. He doesn't, but he is forcing Shuttle back home, and that's a victory in and of itself. He did manage to take down the Observer, and now Lurkers are worth their weight in gold versus this army. Where is the Defiler going, and what is it trying to do there? Zergling just absolutely running to their deaths. Trying to pick off the Reavers, but not happening. Not happening here. 126 to 84 supply after that battle. But again, able to make 10 Hydras at a time. The Zerg macro is in full swing. He's got 5 bases. It's only 3 from the Protoss right now. If Force can just hang on for a couple more minutes here without getting destroyed, he's going to win this thing. Oh, the Hydras just are not good against this because the Storm is so much and so plentiful. Ling's coming from the north for some reason. They're going to take down an Archon as it's trying to morph on in. It does not. The merging was not complete. Again, Shuttle going north is really, really good for Force, you guys. Really good for Force. Another Archon gets picked off. Major victory there. 112 to 90 supply. The gap is narrowing right now for Force. Another Archon down. Another bunch of Hydras getting stormed. Another Plague actually catching a bunch of these storming units, a bunch of these High Templar. I think he just has enough. I don't know. I don't know that there's enough stuff being made back at home for Protoss. Oh, free High Templar, free High Templar. No storms gotten off. Yeah. Oh, he does get a storm off. Oh, and the Archon gets saved there too. Oh my gosh, that would have been huge if all those High Templar would have been killed right now. Attacking into the 4th base, the front door of White. Defiler in the mix. Doesn't have much energy for anything. Does he have Consume? I don't know if he's researched that or not. The storms are good. It's basically a Zealot Archon play coming into the 4th base. They're going to take this thing out. Shuttle has not even bothered to take his 4th Nexus during this whole thing. Drones need to evacuate, and they do. Throwing up the lurkers on this on the gap here, on the ramp, to make sure that nobody can follow them up. That's really great stuff right now. Lings and Hydras running on in, just absolutely throwing their bodies into this. The Plague does catch a bunch of these Zealots. They're getting absolutely brought down to the bare minimum. Additional Zealots wandering in right now. Where are the lurkers? I don't know if there are enough. The lurkers are here. Lurker, rather. I think there's just the one who is spining. All those Zealots get wiped out. Additional reinforcing Zealots are retreating from the position. The Archons are getting into the mix here. 13 and 19 kills on these guys, but eventually picked off as a bunch of drones do get picked off there. 74 to 76 supply, and I think Shuttle is in a huge amount of trouble. His production tab is absolutely empty. He's mined out his 3rd base. He's mined out his natural base. He's mined out his main base. His income is in the toilet. He doesn't have the resources to take a 4th. He put all of his eggs into that attacking basket, and Force just barely managed to hang on. He lost his 4th base. His 5th base is up and running though, and he still has income at his 3rd too, which is going to be hugely important right now as Shuttle long distance mining to get enough money to take a 4th base. Can he do it is the question. No, storming on top of those eggs. Drones transferring on in right now. There's not an Archon to make them pay for it, though. Storm is just absolutely ridiculously good. Oh, but additional Hydras on the top of the ramp. Egg once again preventing units from getting up there. Defending much more easy to do if that's the situation. Hydra's catching that Archon. No, almost catching it. More Lings coming on up. This is the most desperate Ling Hydra play I have seen from a Zerg player, I think, ever on my channel. He has just been on the edge the entire time. This might get an epic tag just because it's so close. Coming down to the wire here, 74 to 73 supply, and that's your good game. Shuttle taps out. Recognizes he's not going to be able to get a 4th base up. The 5th base is running. The 4th base is actually, I think it was coming back there, but it got canceled as the game ended. Just too many Hydras, too many Lings, too much income for the Zerg. And Shuttle says, that's enough out of me, and taps out. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Again, I kind of feel like if he just thrown 400 minerals into the Nexus of the 4th base, he could have won this game. Like, he would have been able to keep it going for at least another 4 or 5 minutes. But as it stood, he was tapped out for resources. He put all of the eggs into the one basket of killing Force now. And he almost made it. He did get into the 5th base. He did kill the 4th base. But enough Lings, enough Hydralisks, enough Plague on this particular composition, which was the right call. You gotta say, Darkstorm would not have been as good with all the Zealots that were on the field there. But upgrades 3-3 versus only a 3 with no armor upgrades at all for Shuttle. So I think that helped a bunch in a bunch of these engagements here. But so many Zerg units died. So many Zerg units died. And it felt like there were just small engagements all throughout the game there. Big push. A big moment of the game was when the push got down to here for Shuttle, and just tiny little units kept getting thrown at it by Force, finally pushing it back, and back, forcing Shuttle to come back down this way, buying time, and time was what allowed Force to win this game. He was able to hold it off long enough to win that thing. That must be an incredibly stressful game to play. I can't imagine playing a game of Ruler like that one. Just losing so many units to Storm, so many units to Zealot attacks, the Archons murdering a ton of my Lings there, and just continuing to push. And man, Force gets the win in a really fantastic match, I gotta say. I am really, wow, I loved casting that one. I might give it an epic tag. I'll let you patrons decide. If you put epic yes in the comments here, I'll put an epic tag on it, and we'll get it put into the playlist when the time comes. So Woo! Good stuff. Good stuff for sure. And in the end here, 210,000 points for Force, 207 for Shuttle, 706 Zerg units killed. That is a lot of dead Zerglings and a lot of dead Hydralisks and a lot of dead drones there. So many dead stuff. So much dead stuff there. Structures raised, 7 units killed, or 7 buildings killed there. By Force, only 1 building killed. Really, only 1 killed by Shuttle there. That's kind of amazing. He did force a cancel on the 5th hatchery. That doesn't count. That was the hatch. It was the 1 hatchery. They killed the 4th hatchery, and that was it. And then resources here definitely favoring the Zerg, as he was able to get up to a 5-base economy, while Shuttle was not able to get up his 4th base at all in that entire game. So 27 minutes of 3 base in it as Protoss. Absolutely amazing stuff. But cool. That is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. All / Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. And you take care of yourself.